Welcome to the Heart of Racing, mate. Alongside our mates at Ladbrokes, Neil Breen here with you, and Will Freedman, as always. How are you, Will?
Very well, very well. Autumn's done, so bit of a lull.
Is it done?
Yeah.
So what do you classify these meetings that are coming up at Hawkesbury, Gosford and Scone?
Boring.
Boring. Bit of a tail.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's a different
They're good
carnival.
for those tracks.
Yeah, that is. And they get a good crowd. The Scone Carnival's terrific. This is sort of you start seeing horses that are platforming to Queensland now. In Sydney you do. I mean, you got the Vobis meet. It's a good meeting down in Adelaide. This is probably their marquee meeting of the year, or one of.
Yeah, there's three
Maybe
Group
Goodwood.
3s, 2 Group 2s and 2 Group 1s at Morfordville
and
on
then
Saturday.
They've got the Goodwood in a couple of weeks, I think, and then we hit Queensland, and Queensland's becoming a more important carnival than ever.
Unbelievable how many horses are being
Did you
sent
see
to
last
Queensland.
week Tony Gollan had 5 winners at the midweeks in the Metro midweek. So like his team's starting
His
to
team's
fire.
building.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that Queensland Carnival as we go along. Have you got a pineapple this week to start the show, Will? Have you got a shocker of the week? You were going to nominate yourself if Marzu won.
Yeah. Wasn't my finest moment. I got reminded a few times as soon as it went over. I'm watching this rain come down and I'm going,
This Marzu's going to win this.
I better look at what Marzu's wet track form's like.
Oh,
It is
it's
just
unbeatable.
It's a swimmer, it's a mudlark.
It's a swimmer. So you were.
His
Look,
mother
no one
was a
knew it was
mudder.
going to be a heavy 10 last Saturday.
No.
That rain that came, they thite there was going to be some rain. But I
Yeah,
live near Randwick. It poured.
How about the I found it quite funny. The Triple Crown boys sent me a comment on my tweet and said, "Thank you for single-handedly turning around Marzu's fortunes."
First win in 2 years.
Yeah,
Thanks to Will Freedman. Yeah, obviously Triple Crown race.
Sometimes you've just got to do things for others. That's
But I am going to absolve you of a pineapple nomination because you said Marzu couldn't win and it won, because you did tip us a winner in stable.
the Orange Cup.
Yeah, Piraeus in the Orange Cup.
I mean, it was 2:30, but
but still, it was a winner. And we said,
gets you started.
Yeah, we said back it on Friday.
Yeah.
and get yourself a bank for Saturday.
That's right. And so that was good. I mean, the pineapple I'm actually giving to Sam Naismith because I didn't know the football was on last night. Didn't adjust my fantasy football team.
The AFL,
Yeah,
that
and-
match caught you out, did it?
Oh, it screwed me. And like, I've got this league with a group of guys that I grew up with. And like, I've never felt so embarrassed in my life playing Sam Naismith, who got 44 points while friggin' Max Gorn's on the bench getting 170. Anyway, people that don't understand fantasy won't get it, but horrific.
But it was horrendous, wasn't it? Made for a
But
bad
I've
Wednesday
got
night.
but not just Wednesday. I've got to live this for the entire weekend. It's just ridiculous.
Let's get into the Sayonara, where we're nominating something we're not going to back again. Look, you've brought up football. You brought up AFL. I'm going to bring up rugby league. I am sayonaraing betting on overs in rugby league. You know how you get $1.90 each or two or so over 43.5 points or over 41 or 42.5, whatever for the match. I only back overs because I want tries.
Yeah.
I don't cheer, don't score. Friday night, I went for, I take both matches, overs.
Yeah.
The Dragons versus Warriors match ended up 30-12. The overs was 42.5. And all they needed was a last try, a forward pass.
Oh, no.
And then on Saturday, the Broncos and the Raiders, 34-10. The overs was at 45.5. And I just needed old mate the Raider to kick a goal, and he missed it. And the Broncos, because they were winning so easy, tried to score from everywhere. Anyway.
It's a mugs game.
It's a mugs caper.
It's amazing how accurate they get it, though.
It's amazing how close they come to.
I don't know how they do it. Some algorithm is smarter than us. We're the mugs that go on it. My sayonara for this week was going to be Jimmy Starr. If everyone was lining up in the Brisbane Mile, but they're not. There's going to be a few.
We'll deal with Jimmy Starr in the show,
Yeah,
because he's in Sydney and Brisbane. But anyway,
I'm not. It's hard to find a sayonara at this stage in a lot of their preps. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
But I don't really like backing the astrologers. This might come back to bite me because it ran in the. Well, it was the Imperatrice last start at Moonee Valley. I can't remember the name of the race off the top of my head. But it ran 6.5 lengths. Like, it didn't quicken at all at Moonee Valley. I know there's an excuse for Moonee Valley, blah, 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 all this. But how can you have a horse that's second favourite that has been beaten 6.5 lengths in any race.
It's in the WWOS Gold Sprint.
So I'm gonna jump on when we get there. I'll be on Ray McNerio, but I can't back the astrologist. Like, you just can't turn around form like that. But I did this last time with
that's your
Marzu,
sayonara.
and then
well, the rain came and it won. They're so simple. Should we say Marzu in the wet?
Why?
It was so simple.
Why are you doing this?
No, I don't know.
Like, I read this and I said, do you just like twisting that knife while it's right in my stomach?
I'm just doing it. The so simple was actually overpass in the Quokka.
Well, we said that it's a weird track, and
it's gone there 3 times to race over 1,200, and it's won all 3.
It's won like something like 5 point something million over in
West Australia
Western
alone.
Australia. It's like super horse.
Super horse absolutely loves that track over there.
I remember the commentary was. Even Björn says he grows a leg being in WA. Maybe it's the heat. And I thought maybe Simon Miller and Björn might have just done a deal where Simon's sending Amelia's Jewel over to the East Coast, give it to Björn, and Björn will leave overpass there for you to keep running over in WA. It could have been a direct swap.
But then he gave Amelia's Jewel to Annabelle Neesham.
I think Annabelle actually trained one of the relatives or something. I think that's
there's a connection.
There is a connection, but anyway, best of luck to Annabelle with her. It's going to be exciting having
Amelia's Jewel here all the time. She's going to run in the Goodwood, and then she'll come to Neesham Stable and will spell and get ready for the spring.
And they're pretty keen to get her over a mile because I think Frosty, Damien Lane, got off and said this is not a 1,200-metre horse. It feels like a miler.
Amelia's Jewel was brave.
Yeah.
It had to ride it upside down
Yeah.
to give it any chance. They did that, and it beat everything bar Overpass.
Yeah, and Overpass just does what he always does. He just goes on speed, kicks, and
he kicks in the straight at Ascot. Absolutely.
It's a nice little short straight for him as well, you know? Like, he doesn't have to hold on for too long.
Look, Gates Fly, we deal with an issue or issues of the week. We've got to deal with a serious one this week.
Yeah.
And that's this Victoria Racing Tribunal, which was hearing corruption charges and other charges against Darren Weir and others. This is the Jigger story, I'm just going to give you some background first. So Weir and his then employees, Jared McLean and Tyson Kerman, they pleaded guilty to multiple charges of use of jiggers. Okay, so they're guilty to that charge. The video evidence is there, they did it. But there were charges from the stewards of engaging in corrupt and dishonest conduct designed to affect the outcome of races. In other words, the stewards also charged them with, you used these jiggers on 3 horses, which were Red Cardinal, Tozen Basil, and Yogi, all leading into the 2018 Melbourne Cup. Some of them were going to run on the Saturday to try and qualify, whatever. And you were trying to affect the outcome of the race. Now, the judge, John Bowman, from the Victorian Racing Tribunal panel, dismissed the corruption charges. Firstly, he said the case brought by the stewards was weak, and he really criticised the stewards. He said it basically wasn't good enough. He said they used an expert from a Dr. Andrew McLean and said that he was a poor witness and really couldn't explain it. So in the end, the judge said basically the jiggers were going to make no difference. That was his finding. And he said Weir's use of a jigger on the 3 racehorses was akin to a superstitious horseman breaking into a race course to spread 4-leaf clover on the track. In other words, he was using the jigger. It was never going to do anything. It was like a trainer sprinkling magic dust to try and get the horses to win. And I think the judge has erred badly here.
Oh, the whole thing sort of, I got his point early on. I got it. Yeah. I got the fact that the case wasn't strong enough. The results didn't indicate that it had...
because all horses ran badly.
Right, so I get that. But why did he feel the need to bring up, it's akin to a guy putting 4-leaf clovers on the track?
He was saying he was doing something, but it was never going to work. Well, how did he know that? And also, there was a reason Weir was using a jigger. It was to make the horses perform better.
Well, there's 2 points here. Let me get both these out. Firstly, do you think that Darren Weir was... this can't be proven, right? This isn't in the case, but just so everyone gets in their mind. Do you think Darren Weir was trialling jigging a horse the first time on Melbourne Cup fancies, like the best of the best. Do you think
No,
he
wasn't.
This was the first time he'd ever considered doing it. Like, was on these 4 horses in the Melbourne Cup? Of course not.
He was trying
But
to get those
anyway,
horses to perform better in the Melbourne Cup.
But regardless of that, you can't prove with evidence you don't have. But then the second part, and this relates to the like ludicrous and like comparison that the judges made. Let's get the judge. I will take him to the 100-metre mark at Flemington, and I will chase him with a taser, and we will see if he runs faster than me chasing him with some 4-leaf clovers.
He will run faster if you've got a taser.
Going, you will run faster. And it also, this cries out to me that, in essence, for this, because they're not bringing up animal cruelty in this case, this particular case. They will bring that up later. But essentially the judge has just said, well, if you're not very good at cheating, then don't worry about it.
Then
you won't be in trouble, because even though your intention is to cheat, if you're not good at it, who cares? Doesn't matter. Like, you'll get done by the rules of racing, but nothing on this case. I'm like, come on. Like, how can you not? What was Darren Weir's intent then? Why was he doing it?
His intent was to corrupt the outcome of the Melbourne Cup.
And like, don't get me
That
wrong,
was his intent.
it's a slippery slope, because if you start doing this, anybody that gives butte and gets caught for butte, well, they could argue that
They were conspiring to affect the outcome
like,
of a race.
For the betterment of participants, it's probably better he doesn't go to jail for this, because it's a very fine line that we're dealing in.
Yeah.
But I just didn't like it just made the whole thing look silly.
Stupid. Yeah.
Like, just say in
Just
the court
say you
case,
haven't proved the case.
Yeah, the evidence doesn't justify an outcome of this.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, the witness was poor. You don't have facts to say that it actually improved performance, even though it probably was the intention. But I can't rule on what I don't have facts on. So move on. But then the whole akin to a superstitious trainer, that is garbage.
That was garbage, and I thought it belittled the whole
And to be
process.
honest, I'm not really having a crack at Darren Weir. I don't like he's doing what
He's
he needs to do.
pleaded guilty to using the jigger.
And but this is just purely an attack on that judge. Like, it was just, have some credibility in what we're doing here. Like, this is a big industry and a big case.
Yeah.
Don't bring in
He sort of belittled it. He was being like a smarty pants or anything.
Yeah, well,
Rightio.
It'll be the first time ever a judge gets put under the microscope. They're protected species.
Exactly, a protected species.
Let's hope not. We don't.
Unless
get in
they
front
own
of them.
horses and spend big with trainers.
Well, that'd be better. If he wants to do that, I'll defend him.
If he wants to buy a share in one of yours.
Yeah, just give me a call.
Rightio. Okay, we've got to get towards our tips, but first let's get a weekend update from Ladbrokes spokesman Tom Hackett.
Thanks, Breeny. It's a Group 1 double in South Australia this weekend. The attention of the Australian racing public turns to Morfordville. The first Group 1 is the Australasian Oaks, and it's a very, very competitive betting race, like it seems to be every single year. Coco's son for the team, McAvoy, is the narrow favourite with Ladbrokes, $5.50. Jamie Carr, the prodigal daughter, in the saddle. It's a deserving favourite, but there's a lot of good quality fillies in this field. Wings of Song, Bribant Sun, both $6. Concello, $7. There's a strong Kiwi element here with a number of horses coming through, both the New Zealand Oaks and the New Zealand Derby. But for mine, the horse to beat in a very open race is Vibrant Sun. The big challenge for it is to step up in trip, but it was very good in the Alexandria Stakes last start. I think it's a horse that's still got a lot of upside left in it. So Vibrant Sun at $6, the horse to beat for mine in the Australasian Oaks. The other Group 1 on the card is the Robert Sangster Stakes. Some really classy fillies and mares set to do battle in this contest. Estrella has done absolutely nothing wrong this preparation. 3 wins in super impressive fashion. This is definitely the toughest task of its career to date, but it is a horse with a huge amount of upside, and you can see why it is the $3 favourite with Ladbrokes. I am me on the second line of betting at $5.50, but I think the value in this field is Zapateo, $7.50. Last start winner of the Galaxy, and the form coming out of the Galaxy has been pretty good in both the TJ Smith and the All-Age Stakes. She's drawn ideally barrier 3. Jamie Carr in the saddle will get every single bit of luck in running, and I just think on her best form, Zapateo is the best mare in this race. So happy to take on the favourite with Zapateo there. But it's an outstanding weekend of racing. You can find all the markets at ladbrokes.com.au or on the Ladbrokes app. And it's back to you in the studio, boys.
Thanks, Tom. This is the Heart of Racing, made alongside our mates at Ladbrokes. Next, we're going to give you the big bets for this weekend's racing, and they're racing everywhere. Take on the fun with Ladbrokes. Download the Ladbrokes app today for all your favourite features, black book, yard comments, and more. You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential advice, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Welcome back. This is the Heart of Racing, made alongside our mates at Ladbrokes. And Will Freedman, normally we'll concentrate Sydney, Melbourne, whatever the big meetings are. Well, this week, because of what's going on around Australia, there's a benchmark meeting at Rosehill, albeit a good one. There's the Super Vobis or the Vobis meeting at Caulfield. There's good races in Brisbane as they head towards their winter carnival. And there is a bumper meeting at Morfordville with 3 Group 3s, 2 Group 2s, and 2 Group 1s. So would you want to deal with Rosehill quickly first?
Yep. There's only one race to really go through, which is that Vale of Lonhro. You've got Jimmy Star, the favourite, who's also nominated for the Brisbane Mile in Queensland. I suspect it'll probably stay in Sydney. I would suspect that.
Okay.
Just considering it's probably not close enough to its grand final. They probably just want to keep it in the routine. It goes up to Queensland. It's got to stay up there. Kieran doesn't have a stable up there, or it's got to come back. So I'd be surprised if it doesn't line up. I know a Star had a big rap last week. I remember sitting in the trainer's room, and I was speaking to who is it? Luke Hilton, who's Björn's racing manager. I said, "Who's your best?" He said, "No, a Star." I know a Star. So they're very bullish on that.
Okay.
Waterford and Lions, Ron Cabrini, they're returning. I just suspect 1,500. Sort of, they're going to be getting ready for better races in Queensland.
If Jimmy Star is any good,
it needs to win this.
He wins this, or if he goes to Brisbane, he wins the Brisbane Handicap.
He's a tough one to get a line on. Like, I know trainers always say, like, riding horses out of their comfort zone. I get that, but it was a bit disappointing anyway. Like,
he led and won, and then he went to Newcastle, and it was just all a bit weird.
So look, he might come back better this prep. I'd keep a close eye on the market, but I'd be having a bid on I Know a Star.
Rightio. So that's the benchmark meeting that's going on at Rosehill. And after that, we go to those meetings at Hawkesbury, Gosford and Scone over consecutive Saturdays. Okay, the big Vobis meeting at Caulfield. We'll deal with the Vobis Gold Sprint, 1,200 metres. I'll run through the market here. Ray Magnerio, $4.20 with Ladbrokes. The Astrologist, $4.60. Jigsaw, $5.50. General Bow, $6.50. Semillion, $8. The rest are $10 and longer. I could not get a handle on this race.
It's an open race, but
Yeah.
that's why I'm still nervous about the Astrologist. But Ray Magnerio had a great prep in the spring. Look, it's a toss of the coin.
I think that is a wide open race.
But there is one at a bit of odds. I don't mind Who Dares, which is $14.
Who Dares?
Yeah,
Okay.
it didn't see out 1,600 last prep at the end of it. So just take away its last prep. It's come back first up fresh at 1,200. So I'd be having an each way bet on Who Dares.
Okay, rightio. The Vobis Gold Heat. Look, there's so many Vobis races. I didn't know which ones to pick. I chose this. It's a 2,000 metre race. Berkeley Square, $2.50 favourite. Regal Asmon, $3.70. Magnus Spin, $6.50. Let's Be Frank Baby, $8.50. It's Berkeley Square's race to lose,
Yeah, I
isn't
think
it?
so. I think this is one of the better bets of the day is Berkeley Square. So I'd be pretty confident on that.
Okay, we'll stick with that. I think the advice for all punters with the Vobis meeting is it can be a favourites day.
Yeah, it can
Some of
be.
these horses come out of
But
good
they're just
races.
better.
They're better.
Than a restricted
It's
group.
a little bit like Magic Millions Day in some
Yeah.
of those races. You back the good horses.
When they're restricted, usually the cream rises to the top.
Rightio, that's
It's
the
not quite
tip.
as competitive as open races.
Exactly. Brisbane Eagle Farm, the carnival starting to warm up. There's a couple of good races. Let's look at the Brisbane Mile. It's the Brisbane Handicap listed over 1,600 metres. Jimmy Star, if it goes there, will be the $2.35 favourite. You'll put the caveats on all this just in a sec.
Yeah.
Because some of these horses mightn't start. Gringotts also for Kieran Maher, won first up, $4 second favourite. We've got Williamsburg, $8, Overriding $8. Everything else is $14 or more. But
Gringotts is in at
Tamworth
and so's Overriding. So I'd expect Overriding to definitely go to Tamworth because it's a big dance
so
qualifier.
the Tamworth Cup's on Friday.
Gringotts, I'm not sure on. Gringotts is in also at Tamworth. It's a long way to Tamworth, really we should know by now, because if it's gone to Queensland, it will have had to have already gone, or it's going tonight.
We'll just have to wait. So everyone just keep an eye out on these fields and the scratchings for the Tamworth Cup tomorrow.
Yeah, Jimmy Star, if it doesn't go, I'd say Gringotts is going. If Gringotts goes to Tamworth, maybe they are sending Jimmy Star
to Brisbane. So we just got to keep an eye on all of those things. Adelaide at Morfordville, as I said, 3 Group 3s, 2 Group 2s, 2 Group 1s. Let's concentrate on the Group 1s. Now, I don't think this should be a Group 1 race, but it is.
Yeah.
The Australasian Oaks, 2,000 metres for 3-year-old fillies. Coco Sun, $5.50 joint favourite. Jamie Carr aboard for the McAvoy stable. Vibrant Sun for Kenton Price, $5.50. Wings of Song, it just keeps winning for Patrick Payne, $6. Concello for Waller and McDonald, who's chasing that record for the number of Group 1s in a single season that Jimmy Cassidy holds. He's on 13. He needs to get to 17. It's $8.50. The New Zealand Oaks winner has come over for Waterhouse and Bott now. Now, I'll try and say its name. Pulchritudinous.
I think that's pretty good.
Pulchritudinous is $8.50. What do
does
you
it
like
mean,
here?
do you reckon?
What?
Have a guess of what it means.
No idea.
Neither.
I'll have to Google it.
Anyway, I'm actually with said horse.
Pulchritudinous.
Pulchritudinous.
Okay, I'm Googling it while you're assessing the form.
We always discredit the New Zealand Oaks form. They come over here and we usually get a good price on them, even though it's a superior staying test in New Zealand. They're conditioned to race over these distances. It trialled okay. We had Walking Painting, who's starting 50-1 in the Tamworth Cup in the same trial. He was hard at it. She was going okay. But yeah, I usually in races like this, the cream sort of rises to the top. I'd be very mindful of Concello. I'm sure J-Mac's not just going over there for the fun of it. He'd be pretty confident that he's on a good one there. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you find that Pulchritudinous will get up.
Okay, so what I want you to do, because I've looked up what Pulchritudinous means, I want you to get home today.
Yeah.
And when you walk in, I want you to stare into Rachel's eyes and say, "You're Pulchritudinous."
What does it mean?
Beautiful.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It means beautiful.
Oh.
It comes from its Latin ancestor pulcher, or Pulcher, which is beautiful.
It's
and
like
we've in English turned this pulcher word or whatever into
like
Pulchritudinous.
Do you remember on my big fat Greek wedding where he's like the Greek root of Rob? Anyway, that's what it reminds me of. Anyway,
I don't think I'll get home to Lizzie and say you're Pulchritudinous. She'd just look at me and go, "Well, you're an idiot."
Yeah, but this is the best. This one we're getting.
The Robert Sangster.
This is the best race of the day.
1200 metre Group 1 for mares. Take it away.
The favourite Estriella $3, Stablemate IME $5.50, Zapatea $7, Benedetta $8, Learning to Fly $15. Look, it's an open affair. That Estriella,
good race.
Estriella has been in super form.
Super.
IME's only been beaten by Imperatriz, who I think in this race would start $1.20.
It would start $1.20. Kieran Maher, I saw him in the week say he can't split them, IME and Estriella.
Yeah, so look, I have a soft spot for IME only because we train for Dynamic and I'd love to see them get a Group 1. But I like one for a Breenie at a bit of odds, which is Climbing Star.
Ooh.
It got beaten by Benedetta last start, which I know you like a bit, but only got beaten 0.4 of a length coming from back in the field. I reckon this race can have a heap of speed, and it might be just flying late, running into a hole.
Okay, rightio. I like it. I like it a lot. Have you got some stable mail for us for Ladbrokes Communities? Ladbrokes Communities, ever wanted to connect, banter, share tips with a group of diehard racing punters? Well, it's time to check out Communities. It's available in the Ladbrokes app. Well done. What is it? How do you spell it?
Piraeus.
Piraeus winning the
Orange Cup. Back to back. Most people only dream of things like that. The mayor gave me the keys to Orange on Saturday. On Saturday. I think it got me into the public toilets or something like that. But anyway,
good. Good.
But I think we've got one in today, so you're gonna have to be quick. Olympic. Excuse me.
That's if you're listening on a Thursday. Yep.
Yeah. Olympic Theatre is $8 is way overs. I'm not saying he'll win. You have to bet each way, but do bet each way. I think he can win. He's got Molly Burke on, getting down to 54 kilos. He ran the fastest last 800 of the day at Newcastle the other day.
Ooh,
and he
I
was
like that.
That was in a 2,300 metre race.
I like that.
And he's drawn well. He's going to be closer. I just think it's all sort of working out for him. He likes a bit of sting out of the ground. It's a soft 5, verging on soft 6. So that's the one that this week. Like, I've got IPO in the first at Rose Hill and is a good chance. Ran really well last start, but let's try and get some money in the
IPO
bank.
won
A midway at last break. It went amiss. It accidentally stood on its shoe. And for people that don't know, like, the shoe where they put the nails in is like putting the nails into your fingernails, right?
Yeah.
So then,
And not the flesh.
Not the flesh, but her shoe shifted, and then the nail went into the flesh, and she got very sore, and she had to go out for a spell. So she's come back in really good order. She'll race very well. She could win, but it's a much more competitive race.
Okay.
But I want to get us some money in the bank for Saturday.
Exactly. Okay, good one. It's time to unload. Can I go first?
Yep, you're in.
I'm going to back Benedetta in the Robert Sangster at Morphettville. I know there's good horses in it. It was a great win last start in a Group 3 over 1,100 metres on the same track. I love it when they hit form like that. It had run well in a Group 1 at a previous start. It was unlucky. And I'm going to back Benedetta, and I'm flying high.
I've seen this.
Because of Huetor last week.
That was a big
My time to unload was Huetor at $27.
You're not getting a pineapple for that. That was incredible.
And I noticed when I text you, you didn't respond.
I was reeling.
You were reeling from Marzu.
I was there watching it happen, and I'm like, come on, Aft Cabin. I have backed you that many times. I didn't even bet on the race, but I just watched Aft Cabin being like, can you just do me one favour this prep?
Just knock this thing over.
But I'm very bullish on this one. This is one that I'm like, it's $7.50. I think it's a great bet. Firestorm in the last at Eagle Farm. It's the Princess Stakes.
That's a listed race for 3-year-old
three-year-old fillies.
It's a mile.
Yep. And Firestorm in the Frank Packer was huge behind Ducasse.
Against the boys.
Against the boys. It was running on. It got a little, not overly, but it just got a little bit of traffic up the straight. It probably would have finished third if it hadn't got the traffic, or possibly into second. I think that form's far superior to what they're offering up
Whenever
there.
Sydney horses go to Brisbane, back them.
I'm telling you, Firestorm at $7.50. It may just be the best bet of the card.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to guarantee people that I'm a great punter, but this bet I am really bullish
keen
on.
Well, Chris Waller likes doing that with fillies. He famously did it with Winks. Now, she turned out to be the best horse in the history of Australia. But she'd run in the Oaks in Sydney, and then he sent her to Brisbane, and she ran over...
The Winks Guineas, wasn't it?
Yeah, she ran over a mile on the Sunshine Coast.
Well, it's called the Winks Guineas now, but it used to be called the Sunshine Coast Guineas.
She ran over a mile and one, and then the 2,200 metre that year, the Queensland Oaks, because Eagle Farm was getting done. Anyway, he does 2,000 metres back to 1,600 metres. Okay, I'm going to unload on your bet, and I'm going to slightly unload on my bet. Best of luck, Will Freedman. Happy training and happy punting.
Thank you.